Peace, love, and blessings, fam. Johnny Sally here with day 9 of Wisdom of the Ages by Wayne W. Dyer. If you have missed any of the previous days, you can catch them on YouTube at Loyalty Life Legacy. Loyalty Life spelled Lyfe Legacy LLC. Let's get into day 9. Enlightenment. Before enlightenment, chopping wood, carrying water. After enlightenment, chopping wood, carrying water. Zen proverb. Founded in China in the 6th century and widespread in Japan by the 12th century, Zen Buddhism emphasizes achieving enlightenment by the most direct possible means. As I study the phenomena of higher states of awareness and what is generally referred to as being enlightened, this simple Zen proverb is always a great source of pleasure for me. When we think of the elusive thing called enlightenment, generally, we are referring to a state of consciousness that we will someday achieve if we adopt the right spiritual practices and work diligently towards becoming enlightened. The expectation is that when we are once fully awakened, all our problems will disappear and we will live in a life of pure bliss. But the message of this famous proverb is that enlightenment is not an attainment, it is a realization. Once you reach this realization, everything appears to have changed, yet no change has taken place. It is as if you had been going through life with your eyes closed and suddenly opened them. Now you can see, but the world hasn't changed. You simply see it with new eyes. This proverb about chopping wood and carrying water says to me that enlightenment does not begin in a lotus position in a cave atop the Himalayas. It is not something that you will get from a guru or a book or a course of study. Enlightenment is an attitude toward everything that you do. The state of being enlightened, for me, involves a very basic idea of being immersed in and surrounded by peace at all moments in my life. If I am anxious, stressed, fearful, or tense, I am not realizing the potential I have for enlightenment right in that moment. I believe that becoming aware of these non-peaceful moments is one of the ways to begin. It's one of the ways to being an enlightened person. I have heard it said that the difference between an enlightened person and an ignorant one is that one realizes he is ignorant, while the other is unaware of his ignorance. I have felt a deeper sense of inner peace and enlightenment in recent years, and still I chop wood and carry water as I did when I was a teenager. Every day I still do the work that will pay the bills, even though the work has changed. Each day I exercise to stay healthy, eat properly, brush my teeth, and wipe my own behind. In the past 30 years since my first child was born, and right now with 7 more children to raise, I have the same basic concerns: how to protect, feed, advise, and deal with them. I continue to chop wood and carry water as a family member concerned with their lives. Entitlement is not a means to eliminate life's daily tasks. So, what does an enlightened outlook on life do for you if it doesn't eliminate daily chores and lead you to a contemplative, problem free life? In general, enlightenment will not change your outer world, but you will change your way of processing the world. For instance, as I go about the business of parenting, I see my children with an absence of ownership and attachment, whereas previously their behavior could rule my emotional life. Now I see my 8-year-old's tantrums as what she has to do right now to get attention. I don't feel compelled to join her in her emotionally juvenile conduct. I also see the success that all my children experience from this more detached perspective. My realization of detachment is not an attitude of indifference. It is one of knowing that I have the power to choose peace for myself in all moments, and that I will still have all the same activities, problems, and events cropping up each day. As long as I am in a physical body, I will have some chopping and carrying to do. But the way of approaching it is what constitutes enlightenment. I can recall the horror I once experienced when having to change a particularly messy, dirty diaper, or, heaven forbid, having to clean up the floor after one of the children decorated it with throw up. I would say, I simply can't do those things. They'll make me sick. And either I avoided them, or, if that was impossible, I literally responded to the olfactory insult by getting sick myself. It is amazing how such an attitude affects your physical reactions as well as making them tougher duties on parenting unpleasant. Today, I can approach a dirty diaper or a pile of noxious throw up with a completely different attitude. And the most amazing thing is that I no longer have the same physical reactions as I once did, strictly because I changed my thoughts. The diapers are there before and after enlightenment, as is the barf. But in post enlightenment times, you can bring to the task an air of detachment, and peace is your result. I love this affirmation from A Course in Miracles. I can choose peace rather than this. I say again, I can choose peace rather than this. To me, that one affirmation sums up this whole business of enlightenment, being able to choose peace while caring, chopping, cleaning, delivering, hammering, or any of a zillionings you could add to this list. Enlightenment is not something that will set you free. Rather, you become freedom itself. You do not become an eagle in the sky. You become the sky itself. You no longer define yourself by the boundaries of the body. The universe itself becomes your body. You are connected in a profoundly spiritual way to all that you see and do. You begin to treat all your tasks, even the most mundane, as opportunities to know God. You bring peace to everything, since in your mind, you are everything and everyone. You become less preoccupied with labeling the flowers and trees and more involved in experiencing them. This simple little Zen proverb, which has been handed down to seekers of enlightenment for thousands of years, is a great gift. Inside or outside yourself, you never have to change what you see, only the way you see it. That is enlightenment. To put this simple Zen proverb to work in your life, here are a few equally simple strategies to practice. Become aware of your ignorance, as it reveals itself each day when you have allowed yourself to slip away from being at peace. Note who you blamed for moments of despair, what the occasion was, and how frequently you fell into this trap. The recognition of your unenlightened moments is the way to begin turning them around. Remember that those who are ignorant are generally unaware of their ignorance. Become aware. Let go of your inclination to see enlightenment as something that you will achieve at some future time when your life circumstances change for the better. You will always have some form of chopping and carrying to do. Your choice is in how you elect to see it. Practice making specific changes in your personal approach to things that take you away from your peace. Again, practice making specific changes in your personal approach to things that take you away from your peace. For example, if you find yourself being excessively annoyed in heavy traffic or in long lines, use these ordinary circumstances of modern life to shift around your inner world. Reserve a space within yourself for enlightenment to appear in the moments when you typically opt for anguish. And finally, never make announcements about being enlightened. The person who says, I'm enlightened, is definitely not. Choose not to engage in conversation about your enlightenment. One Zen teaching says that only after a sincere seeker has asked you more than 3 times should you respond. The sages are silent on the subject of their own level of God realization. Now, I would say that there are levels to everything in life. This would be, to me, and the teachings I understand, a doorway to enlightenment. There are many things that we as earthling humans would like to make so simple for our own general understanding. So let's just say that there is a level of enlightenment that does have to be attained, that does have to be strived towards, that could alleviate a lot of your daily problems. And it is because you would develop the capacity to literally shift, change, control, and manipulate the world around you in ways that people would not be able to imagine. There are stories of Buddhist monks meditating and using sound vibration to move large boulders without touching them themselves. So, even though you may still have to do those daily chores become a lot easier. So it is still connected to the inner work because the outer reflects the inner. So that which you strive for, that which you make daily, intentful, ritualistic, what's the word I'm looking for? Ritualistic determination towards will begin to show up and blossom in your life even if you don't realize it. Your smile will change. Your eyes will change. The way people accept you will change. And not always in a good light, because once you begin to embody a different level of spiritual light, it magnifies and it is a beacon. It is a beacon to heal, and it is a beacon for those who are in the dark that don't realize they need to be healed. So, as you open the door towards enlightenment and begin to walk towards it, yes, pay attention to everything and how you respond to it. Because at the end of the day, if you're in a room with yourself, by yourself, and something goes wrong, as my homeboy Cornell always used to say, the only person you can blame is yourself. So if you're frustrated, you can blame yourself. Yes, someone outside of you or a situation might have been the catalyst towards such. But at the end of the day, to walk the enlightened path, you must accept that everything is a part of you. Everything in our experience, we have brought into manifestation some way, shape, fashion, or form, no matter how simplistic, no matter how grandiose. And most often, the way we see the world is less how the world is than what we project out to the world. If you are an individual who is always negative, then the world is going to look negative to you. If you are an individual that is always positive, then even negative things will appear positive. Perspective is the difference between adventure and adversity. And the adventure of experiencing life is that you get to make the choices you want to have the experience you choose. So today, let's focus on making an attempt to change yourself day by day. Let's make that the ritualistic practice, along with whatever actual physical things you may do ritualistically, whether it be at your altar, whether it be praying, whether it be using mala beads or a rosary to chant mantras. Use those moments, and especially those moments of frustration, the tiniest, minute things, because dealing with earthling humans can be extremely, extremely frustrating, because people gonna people. But use those moments to help you open that door to enlightenment. And when you're ready to go deeper, those higher forms will show themselves too. So, again, walk in love, walk in light, walk in peace, and know that you are loved.